Robert A. Heinlein had none of the dispositions, slave morality in particular, required to be a member of Wilber's integral community. He was a radical freethinker. Heinlein said, "Democracy is 4 wolves and a sheep voting on dinner. Integral is about a bunch of manipulative gurus preying on herd-like, spiritual wannabes, submissives one and all." Heinlein said, "The greatest fallacy of democracy is that everyone's opinion is worth the same." Heinlein would never have accepted Wilber's absurd and indeed insane claim that everyone is right, the total antithesis of what any rational and logical person would conclude. Heinlein said, "There is an old song which asserts the best things in life are free. Not true? Utterly false." This was the tragic fallacy which brought on the decadence and collapse of the democracies of the 20th century. Those noble experiments failed because the people had been led to believe that they could simply vote for whatever they wanted. And get it without toil, without sweat, without tears. Nothing of value is free. Even the breath of life is purchased at birth only through gasping effort and pain. Integral theory reeks of slave morality, degeneracy, weakness, decadence and narcissism. It lacks all sense of struggle, and any notion that it is in any way concerned with ambition, nobility, honor and the pursuit of glory. Heinlein said, "A managed democracy is a wonderful thing. For the managers. And its greatest strength is a free press when free is defined as responsible and the managers define what is irresponsible. Integral theory is great for the gurus preaching to the gullible, credulous, desperate masses that crave direction, and somebody to dominate their tiny little minds." Heinlein said, "Democracy's worst fault is that its leaders are likely to reflect the faults and virtues of their constituents. With integral theory, all of the flaws of the gurus that lead it are reflected in the followers that support it. Integral is especially molded in the bizarre image of Ken Wilber, a man too dumb to be an intellectual, but clever enough to be dangerous and to lead Dunning-Kruger types astray, like the Pied Piper of Hamelin." Heinlein said, "Democracy is a poor system of government at best. The only thing that can honestly be said in its favor is that it is 8 times as good as any other method the human race has ever tried. Meritocracy is infinitely superior to democracy. Meritocracy has never been tried. Meritocracy is the system described by Plato in the Republic, but he called it aristocracy, rule by the best, i.e. wisest. Philosopher kings and queens have never been in charge of the world." Heinlein said, "Democracy is based on the assumption that 1,000,000 men are wiser than 1 man. How's that again? I missed something. The stupidest thing anyone could possibly say is, everyone is right. A genius stands a chance of being right. The average member of the herd does not. When you add together the intelligence of the average, you still get nowhere near the intelligence of one genius. A trillion average humans, indeed an infinite number, could never have come up with the ideas of Leibniz. One person can be more intelligent than all the rest of humanity put together. That's a fact." Heinlein said, "What is supposed to happen in a democracy is that each sovereign citizen will always vote in the public interest for the safety and welfare of all. But what does happen is that he votes his own self-interest as he sees it. Which for the majority translates as bread and circuses. In integral theory, everyone pretends to be enlightened. In fact, they're all undarkened and pursuing self-interest. Their bread and circuses is of the meditation and mindfulness variety." Heinlein said, "Democracy can survive anything except Democrats. Perhaps we might say that integral theory can survive anything except integralists." Voltaire. Gödel was no fan of Voltaire. When Gödel said there was a worldwide conspiracy to suppress the teachings of Leibniz, totally true. Someone said that Voltaire was a more likely target. Gödel answered, "Whoever became more intelligent by reading Voltaire's writings?" Indeed. and whoever became more intelligent by being a Wilberite. The pathos fallacy. Reality is not about feeling, pathos, or stories, mythos, it's about reason and logic, logos, hence ontological mathematics, as the supreme expression of reason and logic. The demons. One thing we would love to achieve is the complete demonization of middle-class liberals, by which we mean well-off people who have never had to struggle in their lives and lead such empty, pointless lives that they have plenty of time for yoga, Pilates, meditation, mindfulness, reading loads of self-help books and MBS, mind, body, spirit, books. They favor absurd gurus like Ken Wilber and Osho. These bleeding heart liberals are the people who roll out the red carpet for subjectivism and relativism, for all truths, which is to say no truths at all, for everyone has their own path and own truth. These are the degenerate liberal equivalents of the deplorables. These hollow men and women lead completely vacuous lives, empty of all meaning, for which they are always desperately searching. They are supremely decadent and worthless. Their jobs and careers are of no value at all. These people are always love and lighters, followers of Buddhism and the like. They are the other directed successors of the beatniks and hippies. Spare us from these living vacuums. These people are the force of counter-revolution. They are reactionaries, determined to oppose any attempt to bring about the total transformation of the state by the power of state. They oppose all social engineering. They hate big government. They are always advocates of negative liberty and unqualified self-expression. They unconditionally love the other, because it shows how nice they are, how open-minded, how tolerant, how wonderful, how advanced they are. These people oppose judgment. They pour scorn on the judgmental. Yet these people are hidden racists. They are the bulwark of the institutional racism and classism that makes it almost impossible for anyone who is not from a background similar to theirs to succeed. While these people prosper, our agenda will never succeed. We need to push the smug middle class off the stage. It's time for the working man and woman of all races to come to the fore, the smarter the better. It's time for universal justice, for equal opportunities for all. The rigged game must cease.